Hey guys, Carl from Perfect Moves Plays. Today I'm going to be taking a preview look at a prototype copy of the newest game in the Simply Solo line from Button Shy Games and Scott Almes, A Nice Cuppa. This is again another solo spatial puzzler kind of a game with a little bit of programming thrown in. Disclaimer, as a preview for a Kickstarter campaign, I was given advance access to the prototype copy of this game from the publisher. But with that said, I will do my best, as always, to give you my own honest opinion on the game. With that said, let's head down to the table to see how this one plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. To set up a game of A Nice Cuppa, begin by taking the 7 T cards. Now, before I get started, you'll see here a little bit of glare going on. This is a P&P, or print and play, prototype copy of this game that I've done myself. So everything is sleeved. I do apologize for any reflection that you get on camera. These T cards, as you can see, have this blue focused side as well as this sort of grayed out pink distracted side. Begin with all of them focused side up, giving them a shuffle, and then laying out the 7 cards in a row on the table. Next, take the worry cards, give those a shuffle, and place out one of them face down below each of the 7 teacups, returning the remaining cards back to the box. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 worry cards, so 3 of those will not be used in any play of this game. So again, 7 cards face down below this row. Then finally, the last card of this game is this reference card, which is going to walk us through a turn of the game, sort of explaining how everything works. And on the back is a scoring sort of explanation. I'm going to set that here on the screen, and I will use that in just a second to explain how the game plays. But before actually I get into how the game plays, I should show you how the game scores. At the end of the game, I'm going to look at all the T cards, and we're going to keep card number 1, and then each card in sequence after it. So basically, I want to put the cards in sequence from 1 to 7, and anything that's not in sequence will be discarded, which means it doesn't score at the end of the game. And then, for each T card that is focused, I will score 2 points. For each T card that is on the distracted side, I will score 1 point. And finally, for each worry card that remains on the table, I'm going to lose 1 point. And it says then to check the scoring table in the rule book. There are 2 difficulty levels for this game, which are relaxed and focused. Relaxed sort of just asks you to score as many points as possible, and focused pushes you to get all 7 cards in order and then also score as much as possible. And you're sort of supposed to choose a difficulty level at the beginning, so I am going to choose the focused difficulty level and push towards getting 1 to 7, but it's very possible that that won't happen, in which case I'll sort of show you both of the score charts at the end and show you how I did and how I would have done. Anyway, you'll get that at the end when we get into scoring. But for right now, let's talk about how the game plays and how I'm going to get the cards into the arrangement that I am going to score at the end of the game. So you'll see that every turn consists of 5 sort of steps, well, 4 steps plus 1 optional step. First things first, I'm going to flip one of the face down worry cards face up. It says if none exists, then see the end of the game, because I will get, you'll see in a minute, 1 extra turn where I'm not turning over a worry card. Then from left to right, 1 at a time, I'm going to perform each face-up worry card's action. You'll see what that means in just a second when we turn over our first worry card. Then, after I've done all of the actions on the worry cards that are face-up, I'm going to flip any T card that is above a face-up worry card to the other side. And then if those cards above those worry cards are face up, or the focused side, the blue side, colored side, up, then the worry card below it will be removed from the game. And that's what I'm trying to do so that I don't get those minus points at the end of the game. Then finally, optionally, if I want to, I can swap any 2 cards. A pair just means 2 adjacent cards in this case. So I may choose a pair of T cards and swap them. So this is going to give me a little bit more control over the order of the cards that I've got. And then you'll see here, end of game, if there are no face down worry cards at the beginning of your turn, skip step 1, complete 2 through 5, and then that is the end of the game, and we'll go into scoring. So basically there will be 8 turns or 8 rounds in the game. The first 7 of which I will be turning over one of these worry cards, and finally in the 8th one, all of the worry cards will have already been turned over. It just sort of gives me one additional turn to get things in order, clear out as many worry cards as possible, and so on. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. And I'm going to turn over this worry card. Now I can choose any worry card I want to turn over. I'm choosing later because, again, on future turns I'm going to turn over other worry cards. And this is kind of like a programming sequence. I'm going from left to right doing whatever actions there are. So once I've gotten something sort of in the later half, if I need to do something to sort of manipulate before I get to this, I've got lots of option before. So I'm going to try this one, politics. And it shows here, I'm going to choose a pair, move the left card to the left end of the line and the right card to the right end of the line. And I see that I've got a 7 and a 2 here. So I'm going to choose that pair. Means 2 moves to the end over here, and 7 moves all the way to the end over there like that, which is great because I want to put 7 at the end, and it doesn't really hurt to have the 2 there. And this is going to flip over like that. Now I have the option of swapping 2 cards. And I think right now I'm not going to, because I could swap this 1 and 2 to put them in order, but I know that I have to do this again next turn unless, no, definitely have to do this again next turn. And then potentially if this stays here next turn, it will flip back and that will get removed. But if I choose this as my pair next time, I can send the 3 all the way to the end and keep the 7 here, which might be a good idea. In which case it doesn't really mean anything for me to switch those because I may be able to manipulate that in a better way later on. All right, then, turning over another card, aging. My next worry says I need to swap a pair with another pair. All right, then, ooh, you know what? I'm gonna swap this 1 and 6 with this 3 and 4 like that. The problem is then I don't get to get rid of that. And I'm not gonna get rid of that either, but that's okay. We'll deal with those later. Then again, choosing a pair, move 1 to the left and 1 to the right. That means this 1 goes all the way back down. Like that. And the 6 is going to slide over there. Then I can swap in preparation for these. But before I do that, I have to flip the 2 that are above the worry cards like that. All right, then, yeah, I'm going to switch this 4 and this 5, and you'll see why in just a minute. I don't really want anything to happen before this. I'm going to go later and see what happens. Hold on. If I swap those 2, I've got the 4 and the 5 here. Yeah, that'll work fine. Flipping that. Okay, financial. It says we're going to choose a pair and move that pair to another spot in the line. So let's see. I'm going to start by swapping pairs. This 3 and the 7 switches with this 4 and the 5 like that. Then, this is going to be perfect. Choose a pair, move the left card. This is my pair. This goes to the end like that. 3 goes to the end like that. And then it says move a pair to another spot in the line. So 1 and 2 are going to move to that spot in the line like that. And now I've got 1 through 7. Now it's my turn, my job to sort of keep that up as we go. This 2 flips. This 5 flips. This 6 flips like that. Means these 2 are cards, the 2 and the 5 are focused. So those 2 worry cards are removed from the game. Like that. And now we continue on. Move a pair to another spot in the line. No, I don't need to swap anything. I still have that optional. I'm not going to. Let's start early and see what happens. No, let's start here and potentially that 4 stays there and that's going to be something. I've got health, which says I'm going to swap an odd numbered card with an even numbered card. Okay. Odd and even. And then move a pair somewhere. All right, so let's do this. Swap that 3 and 4. Then move that pair there like that. Then these two cards get flipped over, which means both of these go away. And then just because I'm going to swap that 4 and that 5 like that, in the hope that that helps me get things in order. All right, let's go early. Commute. Commute says swap any two cards that are not a pair. Remember, a pair are cards that are next to each other. So I can swap any two cards that are not a pair. That actually works out well because this 3 and this 4 get swapped like that. This card gets flipped over. And that means at the end of the round, I can swap those back together. But do I want to? Not yet. Not yet. All right, next card here, technology. Says swap a pair with a single card to the left or right of that pair. Swap a pair with a single card. Swap any two cards that are not a pair. That's perfect. So this 3 and 4 gets swapped. And then swap a pair with a single card. So this pair swaps with that 3. Like that. This flips over, this flips over. That one is gone. Yes. Doing well. Last flip card is House, which says choose the leftmost or rightmost card in the line and move it to the other end. That's not great. But we're going to have one more turn after this. If I can fix that, yeah, watch this. We can set it up. Both of these will basically undo themselves in the final round. So I don't really care. That's 7 going to go to the end. Like that. Hold on. Before I did that, I need to swap a pair. Hold on. Swap a pair with a single card. And I don't want it to go away. So we'll do that like that. And then we'll slide this down like that. We're not doing perfectly well, but we're doing okay. Because now this one flips over and this one flips over. There's no way for me to get rid of this one, but I should be able to get rid of that one next time. Nothing's changing because the last round, coming here, 3 swaps with 4, 5 again like that. Then choose the rightmost card and move it to the other end. Like that. I didn't do great because there's lots of flipping going on. This 3 is going to flip back over, but this 7 is going to flip over like that, which means this card goes away. That is the end of the game. So we do go into scoring again, reminding that 2 points for every focus card, 1 point for every distracted card, and -1 for every worry. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. -1 is 10. Then pulling up the scoring chart. Unfortunately, on the focused level, I did get them all in the correct order, so it is a win. But with a score of 10, I'm only at the lowest score threshold. 8 to 10 is a focused win. The problem is I had too many cards face down, and this worry card, I've never managed to get rid of, that's not true. I've managed to get rid of all of the worry cards, but I've never managed to get a perfect score. 13 is the highest score I've ever gotten in this game. But that's it for the game. So while I'm here, let me show you the other 3 worry cards that you didn't get a chance to see yet. This is Work, which says choose a group of 3 and swap the first and last in that group. Academic, move a group of 3 to another spot in the line. And finally, existential, which says choose the leftmost or rightmost pair in the line and swap the cards in that pair. Otherwise, I can't really take a look at components because, again, this is a print and play copy that I've made myself. But I do want to say the artwork in this game is beautiful. I'm curious to see if these stay like this in the final version or if there is going to be a little bit more color or something added to these. But in either case, I do really enjoy the way they look. The iconography down here is very easy to understand, and also, of course, it explains everything in words. Let me show you the T cards up close. The artwork on these is very pretty. Select T, boil water, select your favorite mug, pour, steep, add milk and sugar, and finally sip and enjoy. I love the art in this game. Also, the back of the worry cards is very cute little icons representing all of the different worries. I really love the way this game looks. Let me throw the wallet up here on the screen. Again, I do really enjoy the wallet design this time. The colors are great. I love this sort of cream colored wallet. The choice of this sort of blue, green, teal colored text on the wallet is great. I do really like the font choice here. The tea kettle there looks really nice. I love how it sort of forms a logo. I am a little bit irked by the placement of the small a in a nice Cuppa. I do like the stylistic choice of the lowercase a, but I almost wish it connected to the other letters just like the N and the C are connected in some way. But anyway, I think this is a very nice looking wallet, and I do really like the color choice for this wallet. Again, it's just a wallet. It doesn't really matter, but I do always give my thoughts on the wallet in my videos. So that's basically all I have to say about the components. Meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. So here we are with another Simply Solo Line game from Scott Almes and Button Shy. They're coming out rapid fire pace. So many of these have come out, and I've played them all and previewed them all or reviewed them all on my channel. And it's sort of been a bit of a mixed bag for me. I've enjoyed every single one of these games. Let me start there. But beyond that, many of the games have been sort of played a few times and left my collection. And they just keep coming out, and it feels like they're fun, but then they go away, kind of feeling to me. Except that one of the games that has come out that has really captured my attention and does remain in my collection and will continue to get played is Fishing Lessons, which is this sort of programming game where you're building out this chain of programs to rearrange fish on the lake, moving your boat around on top of the water, swapping cards, flipping cards, in order to get some kind of pattern showing in the fish on the line. And that one really worked for me. It was really interesting how the programming played out in that game. And I have to say that this game, A Nice Cuppa, feels like a spiritual successor or almost sequel to Fishing Lessons, because here you've got the same idea of a row of cards and then a row of cards below it that is sort of a programming thing that allows you or forces you to swap and play with the cards in different ways. I really enjoy what I'm seeing here, and I'm really enjoying the twist here now, because now the goal is pretty much the same all the time. I'm trying to put things in order and trying to get things flipped face up whenever possible, and trying to get rid of as many of those worry cards as possible by the end of the game. So it's almost like I'm playing Fishing Lessons with a new kind of objective and slightly different twists on how things work, because I'm not moving a boat around anymore. It's now only about manipulating the cards in my tableau. And the way that that works is really cool, because each round I'm randomly, not selecting, I'm randomly activating some kind of thing that's going to manipulate the cards in the row. And then using that randomly activated thing, plus any other ones that have already been activated in order, I then have to manipulate my cards. So now it's becoming an even more tactical sort of decision, turn by turn. How do I use what I've been forced to do to manipulate things in a way that helps me? And it's really interesting puzzle, because I'm not just thinking about how can I manipulate things to put them in order 1 to 7, which ends up being pretty easy ultimately, But also then, how do I make sure that I'm manipulating cards so that the right card ends up above one of those worry cards so that it flips back to its focus side and removes that worry card before the end of the game? But that's not always a good thing, because every worry card that's removed then doesn't allow me to manipulate the cards next round using that card. So there's this interesting balance of, when do I focus on getting rid of worry cards? When is a worry card useful? When do I hold on to a worry card to work with other worry cards to sort of switch things in multiple ways to then get cards back to where I want to? When do I intentionally put things in the wrong order so that I can get rid of worry cards, but then also so that I can use future worry cards to put them into an even better order before the end of the game? It's a really interesting balance of stuff. And I've played a bunch of times now, and a couple of times I've gotten near the end of the game and only had one worry card, which means, well, now I've got to switch something, and I don't have the ability to switch it back because there's no other cards to help me. But plus, also now that I've got this one card, there's no way for me to get a thing above that card to get rid of that card. There's lots of thinking turn by turn here. There is some long-term strategy, but ultimately the long-term strategy is just the end game goal. And each round I have to deal with the random that I'm given, plus the non-random that I already know exists from the previous round, plus the ability to have that optional thing at the end of each round to swap to adjacent cards. Trying to get them in order, trying to get them all face up, trying to get as many of those worry cards gone as possible. And I'm really, really enjoying what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure yet whether this is better than Fishing Lessons or Fishing Lessons is better than this, because I haven't played that one in a while. But visually it's gorgeous, just like Fishing Lessons was. Stylistically, they're very similar to each other, but they play quite differently based on the goals and based on that sort of boat movement in Fishing Lessons. So I do think that both of these exist as sort of standalone things. It's not like one replaces the other, because they are unique. And again, it does feel like a sequel. It does feel nice to sort of go back and forth. Well, I can't say that because I haven't gone back to Fishing Lessons since having played this, but I feel like it's going to be something that's fun to go back and forth to play with the slight differences. But also, slight negative potential is that this one could potentially get a little bit sort of repetitive. The nice thing though is that there are 10 worry cards and you only play with 7 of them. So the different random sort of mix of cards that you get each game is going to be different. Plus, remember, you're laying them out in a different order randomly, face down, so you don't even know what you have available to you. So it's not like you can plan ahead knowing these are the cards that are going to come out at some point, because with 10 cards and only playing 7 and playing them in a random order, you don't really ever know what's coming. So it really does force that tactical decision, which I tend to love. I love this turn by turn, making the best of the situation as I'm playing a game. But ultimately, there are only those 10 cards, and it could potentially get stale. Also, as I play, it is a little bit easier than I'd like, but I think I've found most of these Simply Solo games to be fairly on the easy end, and I tend to play them on the most difficult or one of the higher difficulty levels as I play. So that's not saying much. If you're already into this line, you kind of get the focus, the difficulty level focus that these are aiming for. Again, I will play this as I did in the video, trying to do the best, most difficult thing that I can, and sort of seeing how close I can get to that, because I have scored 13 several times, but I've also scored as low as 8. So, and I've also definitely had games where I didn't get 1 to 7. My shortest, I think, was 1 to 5 or so. So there's definitely a challenge here. Don't let me say that it's super easy, but it is on the easier side of things unless you're trying to play in the highest difficulty level, which is fine because it exists there and that's what it's there for. Play it if this game feels easy for you. That said, I enjoy everything I've played, and I brought up these possible small negatives to say that Button Shy is really good about releasing expansions for these games. I don't know what's coming in the Kickstarter, but generally there's a small expansion, at least one in the Kickstarter. I assume that there will be more because most of these Simply Solo games have gotten more expansions moving forward. With just a little bit more content in this game, it could really, really grow to be a very, very good, variable puzzle game with legs moving forward. And this could potentially be my favorite game in the Simply Solo line, alongside games like Fishing Lessons, and potentially Last Lighthouse was another one that's sort of up there in the higher ranks for me as well. I keep saying I don't know if they can keep going with this Simply Solo line, but then they keep continuing to at least entertain me with what's coming out and at least surprise me with at least twists, if not completely new twists on things. So I'm very curious to see where this line goes. So far, nothing has been completely negative. While I did say many of them have left my collection, Fishing Lessons stays, and this one is almost definitely going to be there right alongside it. I had a whole lot of fun with this game. I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, I do ask that if you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.